So now we're going to do payroll spreadsheet number 2. And we still have the same 5 employees: John Smith, David Wong, Doug Porter, and Leah Natu, and Jagpreet Singh. The only difference in this spreadsheet is that you have to calculate how many hours they work every day, given the fact that they come in at different times. So for example, if you look at the spreadsheet, we'll see that John Smith comes in at 7:58 in the morning, and he leaves at 12:56 in the afternoon, almost 1 o'clock. The other thing we have to calculate is the total number of hours worked for all the employees for each day from Monday to Friday. And then at the bottom of the spreadsheet, we have to calculate the total number of hours worked per employee. We then have to enter the wage rates, which are given at the top, and then calculate the gross pay, which is the total number of hours worked per employee times the wage per hour. So let's put in the wage rates first. So we can see that John, David, and Doug earn $10.52, and Leah and Jagpreet earn $12.67. So we go back to the spreadsheet. And we've entered the wage rates below under the correct employee. Okay, you notice that we already have one formula in here that's correct, because if you think about it, John comes in at 8 or 7:58. That's very close to 8 o'clock in the morning, and he leaves at 12:56. That's very close to 1 p.m. So if you work from 8 to 1 p.m., that's almost 5 hours. So this calculation reflects that. That's how we did that. Okay, if I double click here, there's the formula. Basically, the idea is to get the out hours and the out minutes as a decimal, and then you subtract the in hours and the in minutes also as a decimal. So I'll do the calculation by hand on the side. So he comes in at 7 o'clock, and he leaves at 7:58. So he's there 58 more minutes. He then leaves at 12 p.m. and 56 minutes. So the calculation would be equals bracket the hours out plus the minutes out, and this is where it gets a little tricky. You have to divide the minutes out by 60, because that will affect the percentage. So for instance, if he had worked 60 extra minutes, that would actually be 1 more hour. So if you divided 60 by 60, that equals 1. So you divide 56 by 60, and it'll give you the percentage. There's the out time he left, and then you subtract the time that he came in. Well, he came in at 7, and then 58 minutes. Divide that by 60, and you'll notice that you get 4.9666. And what we did is we formatted that to 2 decimals. Okay, let's try it over here. So you go equals bracket hours out plus minutes out divided by 60 minus bracket hours in plus minutes in divided by 60. So both numbers will end up being as a decimal. We hit enter. So in this case, coming in at 9:35 a.m. and leaving at 15, which is 3 p.m., 3:22 p.m., the amount of time in decimal between that is 5.78 hours. So now we can copy these across. So remember, the way to do that is if you're going right, is to hit Control R. And we want the total number of hours, so we use the sum function. Sum, open bracket, cross, closing bracket, enter. Now, I'm not sure, you'll notice that this is centered. So I'm going to format this to the right using the format tool. I'm going to just make sure it is in 2 decimals here. You'll notice that all these days match up, so you don't have to enter all the formulas again. What you can do is if you highlight from B9 all the way over to H9 and copy using Control C, and then you go to the 17th row and start at B17 and hit Control V, it'll do all your calculations for you. I'm going to do that for all the days. Okay, so now we have our spreadsheet. And by the way, remember that you have to name your spreadsheet Payroll 2, and then you have to share it with your teacher over here when we're done, or anytime actually, because it will keep saving it as you work. Okay, we want the total number of hours. So for the first employee, you go into the cell where you want the total hours, type in equal, cursor up, and we're going to get the hours for Monday for John Smith, plus the hours for Tuesday, plus the hours for Wednesday, plus the hours for Thursday, plus the hours for Friday. We hit enter, and there's the number. We're going to put that to 2 decimals, so we click on the number, 2 decimals, and we have to make sure it's right justified because it's a number. And now what we're going to do is we're going to copy it across, so we highlight, highlighting across, all the way across, Control D, or Control R. And you'll see that the total number of hours for all employees is 150 hours, 0.78. To figure out the wage, right here, if you copy across, you'll notice you get a little bit of an error because it's a blank cell. So just hit the delete key. Now we want to find out how much John Smith earns per week. So you go equal total number of hours that John Smith worked times, using an asterisk for times, wage per hour. We format that to 2 decimals. And then we can copy this across. And we can widen these cells. There's not enough room. And just make sure they're on the right side. Okay. Now we want the gross pay for all the workers, so we can copy this formula, which adds that row across. Control C and click Control V. So that shows you how to do payroll number 2. Make sure you name it correctly and make sure you share it with your teacher.